So I'm back. Uh, yeah, it's weird how every time I get on this camera, it frightens me to death. I have loads and loads of good ideas before I get here, and then like I say, it's much more difficult than my days as a pub philosopher. The idea of people actually seeing this scares me. I've got my first subscriber. Now, admittedly, this was a friend who's been helping me while I've been learning how to do Facebook Live, but it's still a subscriber. I have got one. Now, this won't earn me any fortunes, I know, and it's still early days for me. I'm still practicing. I'm still playing with this because there isn't an easy way for me to break through and become confident. It's just work. That's where it comes from. And I've found this. I've spoken about it before, but I left school with no qualifications, none at all, and without a clear idea what I wanted to do in life. I was told by family and friends that you got yourself a good job, and you went to work and you made the most of a bad lot. That was my thinking. I actually had a fantastic bit of luck to start. I got to work in the Middle East when it was expanding and growing, but unfortunately I decided that wasn't good enough for me. I was going to go back to the UK, and I was going to do different things, which was mainly be unemployed, until gradually I started in business because I couldn't find anyone to give me a job. I went off and got some training as a carpenter. Again, couldn't get a job. Started a small company doing carpentry jobs and general building for a little while, and then run out of friends. Once all friends and family had done their bit, and then you was faced with the hard work of generating business and learning how to price things and getting them done. And I just didn't have the skills. Simple as. I didn't have the skills to push the business through. So eventually I got offered a job as a trainee salesman, building sales estimator. And the man taught me how to go into people's houses, talk to them about whatever, find their psychological need for whatever I had to sell. So mainly it was domestic stuff. So mainly it was going to make their home life better, their family more together, and the windows or the conservatory or the fitted kitchen. That was gonna cure all their problems. And I had a good time at that for a while. Eventually, I gave that up and run my own company doing replacement windows and doors and stuff like that for a while. And then I moved into it's all a bit disjointed, but I then moved into selling closed circuit television systems for a while. I had some success at that before deciding to run a supplies company doing nuts and bolts and screws to the garage industry, which was an absolute disaster. It was an absolute disaster. Everything went wrong. I lost my house. I lost everything, including most importantly my self-respect. So I went travelling. I went to France. I went to America. I was away for a couple of years, one way and another. And while I was away, and listening to Americans talking about lifelong learning and education, I hit upon the idea of going back to college or university and to get an education. So that's what I did. I went back to the UK. I tried to get some government help, which was virtually impossible. But eventually I found a way. I found a way of going off to university, and I studied English literature and radio, film, and television. And so I got some bits of paper behind my name to say I was educated, and I didn't feel any different at all from what I'd felt as a teenager leaving school with nothing. It didn't work. It didn't work for me. So eventually I ended up here on this boat where I live now, and I started listening to different voices on YouTube, different philosophers, different thinkers, and it has put me in front of, you've got the whole world, haven't you? You've got the whole world that you can have a look at, and but all this information and ideas have not given me any certainty. Everything feels like it's up for grabs now. There's something I could do or should be doing, and it runs against everything I was taught as a child. Really, my family influences were, there to get a good job, stick with it, and there was no talk of purpose or careers or direction. You just kept on going, and it would all work out if you stuck at it long enough. Well, that has not been the way it's proved to me. Now the internet is going to give me access to all this information, and I'm going to try and use it to push things forward. Initially it's going to, I'll be lucky if I can even help myself, let alone anyone else. But I've got to say, even these couple of videos, I can feel the confidence building. That might not show through on the camera. I don't know, obviously, because everything that happens to me is pre-checked by my old head. And my old head says you're pushing in the wrong direction, you're trying too hard. Go and get yourself a job stacking shelves, and you'll be happier. Go and do what your family has always done, which is work. Get a good job, stick with it. But unfortunately, or fortunately, it's hard to say, those jobs are not available anymore. They've gone. The dockyard's reduced in size where I live. The steel mill's been knocked down. The potteries have gone. Most of the big engineering companies have all gone. So my getting an education has put me out of one box and standing by the other box. I've not found a home yet. I've not found somewhere to lay my hat down and start building. I don't know what the future holds. None of us do, I suppose. I've got to work out whether I'm someone who can put in enough effort, who cares enough to take the chance of getting it wrong, rather than just accept the steady life that is on offer. It's still there, I'm sure. It's not as good as it was for the non-professional working class. We haven't got anywhere near the options we had, since I started, let alone since my dad started. We're in a new world, we're in a service economy, and yet the lessons we're taught, or I was taught anyway, did not make it conducive for me to go into that steady. I was never going to end up in an office. My attitude was all wrong. I didn't know how to comply or cooperate. It was, I think, like lots of men, we were taught that we were in a competition, and we needed to be strong enough to get people to go along with our ideas, and that was a competitive thing. And now all of a sudden, the world has changed. It's now all about cooperating, and it doesn't come easy to me. I don't know whether it comes easy to anyone else, and maybe people who've worked in offices found another way to achieve the same thing. Most of the offices I go into have got very frustrated people, and it doesn't seem to come naturally to us humans. We should be out on the veld, I suppose, hunting. Yeah. But anyway, enough from me. I still can't. Still struggling to laugh through these. Still feel the world's out there watching me, even though in reality it's one subscriber. Thank you for your time.